Draft good players isn't just a slogan for the NFL draft, it's a slogan that you need to take to heart in your fantasy drafts, and that starts with research right now. I'm Jaime Eisner for the Draft Network, breaking down the race for RB1. And if you've been playing fantasy football, whether it's for 1 year, whether it's for 20 years, or anywhere in between, you know the race for RB1 is, quite frankly, the race for the number one overall pick in fantasy drafts. So let's get into it right now with some of the top candidates. And let's start with a player that used to really perennially occupy this RB1 spot without a doubt. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey. He comes in now as my RB3. Now, he is in this consideration. I like him a lot in terms of a per game basis. He is projected for me to have more fantasy points per game than any other running back. The issue is going to be injuries, because this has been the issue the last 2 years. He's played 10 games. He's missed 23. Not a great ratio if you're going to be spending a top pick on him. But there's no doubt, since 2018, no running back has scored more points per game than Christian McCaffrey. When he is on, he gets a ton of volume, he gets a ton of success, and he is a matchup winner any single week. But he carries with him a lot more injury risk now than any other point in his career. Volume matters, and there is no player that epitomizes rushing volume over these last few years than Titans running back Derrick Henry, averaging more than 23 carries per game over the last, not one, not two, 3 seasons. He gets a ton of volume and a ton of touchdowns. He's scoring a touchdown on nearly 5% of his total rushes. I know he dealt with injury for the first time last year, missed a little time, but he came back in the postseason, is going to be good to go at the start of this year. And the reality is, if he's healthy, he might flirt with 400 carries. Fantasy is a volume game as much as it is a talent game, and Derrick Henry possesses both. And he is very much in contention for that top spot, but he sneaks in there at RB2, just behind the next guy on this list. One of only 5 running backs to score a dozen or more rushing touchdowns last year. Oh, by the way, he led the league with 18. That is Colts running back Jonathan Taylor, my choice to be the RB1 and the number 1 overall pick in fantasy drafts. He's got the volume, had nearly 2/3 of Indianapolis's total rushing share last year, has the talent, has the touchdown potential. You can argue he's upgraded at quarterback with Matt Ryan going there after the way things ended with Carson Wentz last year. He is the clear choice as a runner, as a pass catcher, to be RB1, the number 1 overall pick, and the clear choice to be the best player in fantasy. I'm really excited to see what Jonathan Taylor does in a follow-up campaign from his breakout year last year. And you should be excited to grab him in fantasy drafts if you have the first pick, or really any of these 3 players. Running back should dominate the top of your fantasy drafts. Let's not overcomplicate things. Unless you're playing in a super flex league, these are the guys that should be going 1, 2, 3. Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. You have a top 3 pick, take it to the bank.